After a successful playing career, Marcelo Gallardo has become one of the best managers in South America. But if he were to leave River Plate, what 3 destinations might be the best fit? The 45-year-old Argentinian started his managerial career in Uruguay, managing Nacional and doing very well for them. After one season, he took over River Plate, who were really struggling in the league, finishing 17th. After one season, he won the Copa Libertadores and eventually went on to win 13 major titles in Argentina and South America. So what makes him so successful? From a tactical standpoint, he's very willing to change his formation and will change depending on the opponent. He's used a 3-5-2, a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-1-2, just depending on who he's playing. Now, he's also not afraid to make big changes during a match. Even if it's early on at halftime, he'll take 2-3 players off the pitch and change his formation to adapt. Now, that game management is something that really makes him a great manager. But how does his team act in possession? Like many modern managers, Gallardo is a manager that wants his team to keep the ball, retain possession, and build up the play very slowly from the back. He requires his center backs to be technical enough to play the ball out, but he also wants his midfielders even dropping in possession, almost playing as a back 3, with Enzo Perez dropping into the back line, picking up the ball and dictating the flow. Now, in possession, like many managers, Gallardo wants his team to play possession-based football and build the play up very slowly from the back. He requires his center backs to be technical, but also wants his central midfielders or the ones sitting in defensive midfield to come drop in between the center backs and dictate the flow from there, almost playing as a back 3 in possession. Now, when they approach the final third, they're very direct and will take risks. Even that means them losing possession. But out of possession is where they really thrive. Gallardo wants his team to be very athletic and very aggressive, pressing very high, pressing very intensely throughout the match. You have to have a very high fitness level to play with them. Now, they're a very compact side, very narrow, and will force teams to one side, which can leave them exposed if the opponent switches the ball. But that's the whole point. They try to win the ball back high and counterattack. In multiple of their past few matches, that's where I've seen them be very successful. They win the ball back in the opponent's half and break to get goals. As an ex-pro who's played for the Argentinian national team, who's done it in Europe for PSG, Monaco, and various other teams, he commands and gains the respect of his players, which allows him to coach them like that, to have them play with that much passion, especially in the defensive phase. Now, one of his biggest attributes is his player development, his ability to develop players, whether it's from the academy or rotate new players into the squad. Now, he's very willing to give big chances to young players, even if it's in the final of a Copa Libertadores, giving a debut to an 18-year-old, which he's done with Julian Alvarez. Now, not many other players will do this, and we even heard Arsene Wenger say in the past, when you do something like that, you take the risk of having a young center back make a big mistake in a big match. But he takes that responsibility and it works out. He's developed many young players and sent them off to Europe before. Palacios recently joined Bayern Leverkusen. You have Montiel, who recently joined Sevilla. Alario, who also joined Leverkusen. You have many other players leaving River Plate and going to big leagues, big teams. Now, this is a result of his man management, his player development, and giving these players big chances. Now, one thing to note is he's been in River Plate for 7 to 8 years. That's a very long stay for any type of manager. Now, he's rotated the team 3 or 4 times at this point, and that just goes to show his player development and just getting the best out of the players he has. A lot of coaches would fail after a few years, lose the locker room. 1, he garnishes that respect, and 2, he's very good at rotating new players into the squad and developing them. With that being said, what 3 destinations might be the best fit for him? Obviously, we've all seen the links to Barcelona, and I think that makes a lot of sense on paper. They both play a very similar style in possession, slow build-up play, trying to be very aggressive in the final third. It would be a very natural fit to go from one league that speaks Spanish to another. I think that makes a lot of sense. But I'm also looking at the Premier League as a whole league. I'm not looking at one team in the Premier League, but I think his level of intensity, how he wants his teams to press, I think that really fits the English mentality in the English style. But I'm struggling to see how a coach that doesn't speak really good English would be very successful there. As we saw in the past with Emery at Arsenal, once you lose the locker room and you don't speak the language very well, it's hard to gain that respect. Now, the last shout I want to make is the Argentinian national team. As a player, he made 44 appearances for them and was a very important player to that squad. Now, he's probably one of the most successful Argentinian managers out there right now. And River Plate is not a joke of a club. It's a religion down in Argentina, in South America. Now, obviously, it's still a bit early in his career to jump to the Argentinian national team, and typically we see managers do that after managing clubs towards the later end of their careers. But I think it would be a very interesting move to have a younger manager come into the Argentinian national setup who's struggled in the past, to give them that fire, to give them that spirit. I think that would really work out. I mean, overall, after studying his matches, Gallardo is one of the next best managers in my opinion. He has it all, especially the man management. I really want my manager to capture the changing room. I want him to inspire the players, play with spirit, and that's exactly what he does. In addition to his man management, his tactical side, his player development, everything that you need in a coach, he has. And I'm very, very impressed with him. I'm really looking forward to see what he does next. He's been very methodical in staying at River Plate for 7 to 8 years. He's not just jumping at any opportunity that comes at him. Barca has even been linked to him, but I think it's going to take a really big job to pry him away from River Plate and a lot of convincing. Now, if he joined my club, I would be so happy. He's a top manager, and if he joins yours, I think you should be very excited. Once again, this is FTBL Scouts, and I'm Noah. Let me know who you want me to scout next, whether it's a young baller, another manager, a team. Let me know. Drop it down in the comments down below. Give us a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.